Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. I'm really looking forward to sharing this. So, my story started many years ago. And have you ever had your life turn upside down? Big news, diagnosis, things out of your control. This happened to me. I was a professional backpacker, whitewater rafting guide. I'd been backpacking professionally for 10 years, hiking with the at-risk teens. And it's river season, bruises are starting to show up. So I'm like, okay, I'll just get it checked out. Routine doctor visit. I'm getting the results. She looks at me over her glasses and says, Holly, I'm sorry to tell you, you have the markers of an autoimmune condition. It's degenerative. There is no cure. Wait, what? This isn't me. What are you talking about? I've always been healthy. She went on to explain what autoimmune condition is, that the immune system actually starts attacking your body's own tissues. And in my case, it would attack skin and organs. She said the reason that you feel exhausted after your morning run is from it's aggravating the immune system. And the reason that you have rashes on your skin and your face is from an allergy to sunlight. I'm glad you see the gravity of that. It was huge. This was my life, living outdoors, camping outdoors. And she said I needed to quit my job. No more exercise. It could aggravate the immune system. Stay out of the sun. It could actually cause a flare-up that could cause my immune system to overreact and kill me, shut down my organs. I was devastated. But there was this kind of inner hope that more could be possible. I realized shortly into the diagnosis, Western medicine, they only had one route, medication management. They didn't actually have a plan for me to get better. Well, around the same window of time, I had also graduated from hypnosis and neurolinguistic programming training, which is all about mind and body connection. And how can we actually start directing the body differently? We've been kind of led to believe that in the face of chronic illness and pain, that we are powerless, that there's nothing we can do. In fact, one psychic told me when I asked her, why is this happening to me? She said, sometimes our bodies just betray us. This didn't feel right to me. I knew that there were more answers. So I held on to that hope while listening to the doctors and doing what I needed to do. But I knew that there were more answers. And of course, yes, I was wanting a miracle and looking for a miracle. I knew there had to be more. So as I started to ask the questions, how can my body feel just a little bit better? What does my body want and need? Synchronicities started to show up. The right people showed up and gave me pieces of the puzzle that helped to ease the tension on my body, to help me let go of the trauma and understand certain foods were making things worse. So I did some of the obvious things first, changing diet, releasing stress, but then it was really the deeper work that made a difference. To really unravel a lot of the old beliefs, self-criticism, self-judgments that was creating a tangle internally about who I was and how life was showing up for me. So over the course, I worked with many people, and this is one way that miracles start showing up in our lives. Often we're thinking of miracles as something that drops from heaven, as a gift. And yes, sometimes these things happen. But the miracles that we are under our noses are the small synchronicities that are showing up, even daily, every day. And the more that we can clear our internal system, we can start recognizing more of those synchronicities. So I invite you to recognize that maybe the miracle is much bigger than the grand healing or the unexplained outcomes. What if the miracle is actually how we relate to our higher selves every day? If we think about even just the body, we've also been led to believe that the body is like a machine to be acted on and directed. But our bodies have come through eons of evolution, eons of ancestors making choices and surviving to be where we are now. Recognizing that through all of these decisions, choices, and learnings, that we have been the recipient of all of this history. And our bodies actually have an inherent wisdom. It knows how to heal itself. When we get a cut, it's not the Band-Aid that heals the cut. The Band-Aid keeps it clean, but it's the body's own tissues that know how to knit together and heal across that cut to create that wholeness. So when we think of miracles, we can recognize that the body itself is a grand miracle. That we are here living in these bodies, experiencing this world in this three-dimensional system where we get to think and feel and choose and to experience choices. Just the fact that we are here is a miracle. There's a wonderful quote by Albert Einstein. There are two ways to live life. One is if nothing is a miracle, and the other as if everything is a miracle. Someone asked me, well, Holly, you had been working on overcoming this for a long time. When did it actually start to shift for you? There was a tipping point as I was clearing out and doing my own inner work. I felt better and better by degrees, even to the point that I started to rebuild my energy, my vitality. But I remember one thing in particular. I recognized, I felt so frustrated that I had that condition. And my prayers were about, help me heal, help me overcome this. And I remember one day I kind of surrendered and gave up and just turned my attention to God. Thank you. Thank you for everything that is in my life now. My family was a huge help for me, a support. And even though the situation wasn't what I wanted, there were things that I could be grateful for. And as I did, it shifted. The last elements really came together. And again, I met the right people along the way that helped me unwind the rest of the puzzle. So when we think of we are in this living miracle, and life has many twists and turns, there's many reasons why we struggle. In fact, part of the why we come to the earth plane, I'm convinced, is for the struggle. As souls, we pick these puzzles to come down and figure out what it's like. What is it like to go through the struggle and to overcome it? I believe our struggles are meant to be overcome. So when we see the struggle, we can ask, okay, what am I learning in this? What am I strengthening within myself And finally, that piece of grace. The process could have gone faster for me had I allowed more grace. But often, as we are born as babies, we are precious. And there's nothing that we can do. There's no capabilities that we have. But then as we grow older, we learn, we grow, we get more capabilities, but then we start to value ourselves by what we can do. But I invite you to consider that grace is that preciousness of our innate human selves, our soul selves, that is always there. That grace is always flowing through our lives. It's just to what degree are we allowing it? We've learned to judge ourselves or to deem ourselves, I can't have this, I can't have that. But if we allow ourselves to connect with that flow of grace, the divine love that is always present, we can allow it to flow through our lives and even through our bodies. And there's one passage I want to leave with you. Even the impossible is just a series of steps and processes along the way. The path to the impossible is a series of perceptions aligning you to your greater truth. You are greater than any of the roles you have played or that you choose to play now. In our little human lives, we forget our greater truth. The truth of you is your expansive self, your dynamic self, your divine self. And ultimately, you are love, and we are all love. Thank you.